I'm Larry Menti. Welcome to the Delaware Way. Every once in a while you come across the story of somebody who beat incredible odds to make a comeback and do the very things that you and I take for granted. Stanley Dabrowski is one of those people. Stanley, I know you suffered an accident. What was your life like before the accident? What did you do for a living?
I worked for an international company called Delaware Incorporated, and I was a service engineer. I did a lot of traveling, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, more than anything in the world.
So you had a great life.
Yeah, I had a great life.
And then what happened in November of 2009?
I was at a stop sign in Delaware, and I was struck. Actually, I was at a red light in Delaware, and I was struck behind by a refrigeration truck. I actually walked away from it, and it didn't bother me until the next day.
So you remember the accident?
Yes,
you remember
I do.
exactly what
Yes.
happened. Do you know why he hit you?
He knew he hit me, and he got cited, but I guess he just got distracted.
What did your car look like?
I was in a company a minivan, and it was totaled.
And how did you get out?
The back of it was totaled. It was full of computer equipment, so that kind of cushioned the blow. My front doors were okay.
And so you walked away. You felt fine.
Yes.
And then you started having problems.
The next day, I had problems getting out of bed. I called my manager, and they encouraged me to visit the nearest medical facility.
And what'd they tell you?
They took X-rays. They said there's nothing wrong. My spine's okay. So I went back. I went back to work. They put me on some inflammatory medicines and painkillers, and I was fine. I proceeded to work for probably another 3 months until the doctor at the ER center said that the pain will eventually go away. Well, after 3 months, it eventually never came. 6 months down the line, it was so excruciating. I was taking spinal injections. They had me on every painkiller there was. And I was going to a great outfit right here in Delaware, Christiana Spine Center, and I was seeing their physicians, and it got to the point, probably a year after that, they actually told me there's nothing they could do. I'll need surgery.
And what was the problem?
I had a shear in one of my discs, and the shear was moving along where it was actually pinching my nerve.
And so you go through the surgery. Did they tell you what your life was going to be like after the surgery?
The surgery was supposed to, they told me the surgery I'll be in and out in 1 or 2 days. I actually spent a week in the hospital after the surgery. I got to the point I couldn't even walk after the surgery. I had to be sent to another hospital for rehab. So I spent a week in rehab to learn how to walk and everything again.
And your job took you back?
I was working before the surgery. After the surgery, it was apparent that I wasn't going to go work. The restrictions on me were so long that my employer knew deep down that I wasn't coming back.
But the reason I asked, because you told me your job hired you back and then when you retired, they retired you. So, but they were doing you a favor.
Yes, yes.
By doing that, because you really couldn't do your job.
I couldn't do my job.
So here, how old were you at the time?
I believe I was 57.
So you're 57 years old, and now you're looking at a life ahead of you as an invalid.
Right, yeah.
But you just ran a race.
Yes.
So take me from you feeling you're going to be an invalid the rest of your life to running the race, and we'll talk about what kind of race it was in a moment. Actually, before you even get to there, at that moment, when you're out of surgery and you've been in the hospital for a week and you can't stand up, what did you think your life was going to be like?
I was pretty well depressed because everything was falling apart. Everything was falling apart. I knew I wasn't able to go to work again. I didn't. At the time, I was still getting income from my employer, but everything was falling apart. I actually planned to work until I was in at least 70.
So how did you get to the point where you could run a race?
I was lucky because my employer had a awesome long-term disability carrier. It was Cigna, and they went through everything with me. Any needs I had, they would provide for me. I have a one-on-one vocational counselor, and she actually wanted me to. Well, first of all, she offered any gym membership or anything like that, and my doctor said, it's good to join a gym to start working out.
When came the point where you could start walking again?
I guess about several months after the surgery, and I needed to do something, so I joined the YMCA, and I was an avid member there, and I start going to the gym, doing the treadmill, and I got to the point where, I start feeling better about myself. I actually lost a lot of weight, doing that, and my doctors really were happy with the results.
When we come back, and we're going to take a real quick break, but when we come back, I want to get to the point where, so you've lost weight, you're feeling good about yourself, you're walking again, you're going to the gym, to the point where you run a race at Disneyland or Disney World?
Disney World.
You run a race at Disney World and you just came back from it.
Right.
I want to find out how you did that, how you went from invalid to Disney World race runner.
Okay.
When we come right back with
Okay.
Stanley Dabrowski. This is Larry Menti. We'll be right back with the Delaware Way.